Let's not waste any time and get right into it. The scripture. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. Proverbs 21st chapter, 16th verse. In U.S. news, embattled Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau calls it quits as internal battles rage. This is misleading. Trudeau isn't running for re-election, but will serve the rest of his term. This is only in U.S. news because Trump suggested making Canada the 51st state, and that's hilarious. Meta says it will end fact-checking as Silicon Valley prepares for Trump. This comes after the platform's pandemic overreach and censorship that drove so many users away that Facebook and Instagram are mostly AI and bots. MTA eyes new taxes, fees to plug $33 billion budget hole, even after NYC's $9 congestion toll. After charging $9 just to drive around the city, New York is delivering even more taxes to its residents. At some point, enough will be enough. First migrant caravan of 2025 marches from Mexico to U.S. to try to beat Trump inauguration. Mexico would be wise to cut them off at the pass. Trump has threatened expensive tariffs for non-cooperation from border countries. Chinese hackers run amok in U.S. telecom network for 18 months, got info on over 1 million people. If you're with Verizon or AT&T, you could be compromised. In New Jersey news, for the best stuff, go to RLS Media, guys. I'm telling you, it's good. It's goodness. Actually, the reason you should go to RLS is because you can count the shootings within the last week. And within the last week here in Essex County, there have been 9 shootings and 2 murders. New Jersey pedestrian deaths hit 36-year high as overall traffic fatalities also surge. If you drive, be extra mindful, particularly in urban metropolitan areas. There are endless illegals just sprinting out into the middle of the street like they didn't grow up here and are unaware of what a crosswalk is. New Jersey stays frozen and windy. 3 possible scenarios for the upcoming storm this weekend. Bundle up, boys. Drivers in New Jersey now face a $500 fine for failing to do this safety move. Give civilian vehicles with their hazard lights on extra space if unable to pass. New Jersey worst in the nation for folks moving out, according to the new survey. America isn't America without Americans. The state is so ridiculously expensive because the government anticipates citizens moving or dying. They don't care which. Fraud alert. 7-Eleven customers urged to check their bank accounts. Triple check where you use your debit/credit cards. Bitcoin, crypto, and digital currencies are creating a space for themselves, but cash will always be king, my boys. In world affairs, battle rages in Western Russia as Moscow reports gains in Ukraine. The war in Ukraine is part of the reason why life is so expensive. Was it worth it? North Korea's Kim oversees successful test of new hypersonic missile. North Korea leader is a huge Trump fan, but understand, this is why masculinity needs to lead, in case masculine-led rivals get funny ideas. The child grape scandal dominating UK politics after Musk criticism. After the H-1B debacle, Elon Musk picked a soft target to pivot his public perception. Culture. In a lawsuit, a former hairdresser alleges FS1 personality Joy Taylor had various affairs with high-level executives and co-hosts. When asked about potential conflict, Ms. Taylor allegedly stated that she would put Me Too or SA allegations on executives if they got out of line. In NYC, a former police chief has been alleged to have a harem of female underlings collecting ridiculous amounts of overtime in exchange for pleasures of the flesh. There are no victims in either scenario. Once the media gets a hold of a scandal, there is a rush to frame the narrative as powerful men taking advantage of defenseless women, when in reality, all parties involved are adults fully aware of their actions. We got the governor stuff, and as the year goes on, we're gonna get into that a lot more. Jay's Corner, understanding. or more accurately, the drive to understand, is literally coded in our DNA as men. Gender, the ideology that professes there is no correlation between biological identity and actual identity, is used as a substitute for biology, which is the study of life. In biology, there are two sexes, male and female, most clearly defined by chromosomes, XX, female, XY, male. Y, or Y, WHY, or understanding. Brother, you are built to embrace knowledge, seek the details, come to an understanding, and then look some more because the devil's in the details and there's something you might have missed. In 2025, there will be a public reckoning in regards to the 2020 pandemic. A pandemic in which many were ostracized for asking reasonable questions, which was the only red flag many men needed. Then there's a link to the short that's on my other channel, Jay the Gent. The culture has beaten the masculine trait of curiosity and adventure out of modern men. We seek comfort, forego discovery, and our father couldn't be more ashamed. Words of the week. Wow, we got two this week. It's gender and gaslighting. I previously explained gender, but gaslighting is a psychological manipulation technique where someone is convinced that their reality is untrue. The goal is to make the victim question their own beliefs, values, thoughts, and behaviors. Since the mid-90s, the American governments, yes, with an S, like all of them, from your local, state, federal, all of them, has gaslit the American people into believing the legitimacy of gender and elevating its science over biology, the true study of God's greatest work, life. Normalizing blasphemy and creating an overwhelming amount of mental illness in the process. So guys, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next one.